Most of the world's top runners only race a couple marathons a year, spending months and months building up to the main event. But I'm far less talented than them, so I've got to think outside the box. While on this journey to run a sub 2:10 marathon, how about I instead race one every month? Sounds sensible, right? So last month I raced a couple of marathons, including a 2:14 at Tokyo. Today I'm lining up for the Nagano Marathon, and then guess what? Next month I'll be straight onto another one. So this has everyone wondering, how am I recovering so quickly from these, able to bounce back and knock out a marathon every month? I mean, the question you should be asking is, what's going to break first, the 2:10 marathon barrier or me? But this constant racing is all part of my unorthodox training plan. So first, let me explain why I'm actually doing it. So this is my new crib for the next couple days. I've headed out to Nagano. I've combined this race with a mini little holiday. Actually, you know what? Holiday is probably the wrong word. This is a marathon monk-esque training camp. I'm gonna be putting in some serious mileage over the next few days. After the marathon, I'm gonna be bouncing straight back into hard training. So in my opinion, racing is the absolute best kind of training stimulus. Like, there's no way you could push yourself as hard in training as you could in a race. It's something about that atmosphere, like you've got the crowd around, you've got other runners, you can't help but get gassed up, and it just makes the paces feel so much easier. So I know I can put in a way harder shift out there on the course tomorrow than I ever could just slogging endless laps around Yogi Park. I mean, I know Yogi Park has a special place in my heart. I'm basically there every day. It's my second home. But sometimes it's quite nice to switch it up. Now, the thing is, with a lot of these marathons, they're basically just long, hard training efforts for me. It's like basically a really high tempo run. So then you get that super compensation after. Like, yeah, you're going to be a bit knackered the next day, but then hopefully next week, you're going to take that fitness up a notch. And also, I think it's going to help my durability. Like, if I'm getting out there really often, absolutely hammering the pavement, pounding the tarmac, then it's just going to get my legs more and more used to racing marathons. I'm not going to be as banged up as a lot of people who race maybe 1 or 2 a year. Like, that's going to have way more of an impact on them. Whereas my kind of thinking is I can bounce back really quickly. Now, one of the other things with racing these marathons really often is it's great practice for the real thing, like for my target race. It kind of takes the pressure off and those like pre-race nerves, because I'm so used to doing it all the time. And so it doesn't feel like this crazy big event running a marathon. It's like, yeah, another standard weekend. A marathon, psh, light work. So tonight I'll be getting a good carbo load in, be practicing my fueling tomorrow, the gels, all of that. But first, I've actually got to get out for a little shakeout because I need to come into this race as fatigued as possible. So I've basically done a reverse taper here, and this will actually be my highest mileage week of the year so far going into this marathon. Just finished up with my run and the legs feel suitably knackered going into tomorrow's race, but I'm just sipping now on a little Morton 320. This is like liquid energy. Pretty much the easiest way to get carbs down. This is worth like 5 rice balls. I'll tell you what, it's so nice getting out of Tokyo. I was a bit sick of it. I felt like I kind of burnt out recently with the runs, but look at this, unreal. I headed out there like towards the mountains, found a little park. You've got all the cherry blossoms as well still out here. Quality. Can't wait to explore the next couple of days. Now let's go get some good grubbing, because you've got to fuel big to train big. So as I'm heading over to the shops, let's talk through the game plan for tomorrow's marathon. So I think it was 3 weeks ago I hit that 2:23 marathon, and that was effectively without training, or at least that's what I called the YouTube video. We had to put a little bit of clickbait in there. But for me, it was like I hadn't trained. I had a couple weeks completely off, and then that was the proper first hard effort. So then we'll see now, after 3 weeks of proper training back, hitting some good sessions, banking some mileage, I should have hopefully made that little jump in fitness. And I think tomorrow we're going to aim for around 2:19, but I think I need to be a little careful to not get carried away, because obviously my legs are tired. This week I've hit 260k, and you know, just a casual marathon to cap it off. Now, one of the big sessions I hit earlier in the week leading into this was on the track, so let's head over there and see how it went. All right guys, I'm back with a vengeance today. Last week I got absolutely battered by this track. The track's definitely my arch nemesis, but I've got to conquer it today, and I've got a huge session on the cards. I'm going to be attempting to knock out 50 laps of this bad boy with 40 times 400 meters. So the thinking behind this is, at the moment I'm struggling to hit that 3-minute K pace or quicker. I tried it last week and was just absolutely swimming in lactic after like 1 rep. So I'm thinking I'm going to break it up into loads of little shorter ones, and it means I should be able to get a good volume in at that quicker pace. Now, I actually don't know if this is going to be possible with my current shape, but I'm just going to try and hit as many 400s as I can in around that 72-second mark. So that's 3-minute K pace, and we'll go off 100 meter 40-second jog recovery. So short little recovery, then back into the reps. It's going to be unbelievably boring on my own, but you've got to love it, that mental training. Come on, the boys. So I entered the battlefield and went to war with those 400s, knocking out 71 and 72s for the first 10. All right, 10 down. Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be brutal. I'm pretty tired already. Got ideally 30 more to go, but yeah, we'll see if that happens.
So those first 10 were basically just the warm-up. Now let's start actually training serious. Let's get into it. And I kept rolling through those 71, 72s for the next 10.
All right, halfway through, 20 down. It's actually started to get a bit easier. Now I'm in the flow. Like at first, I was thinking, geez, this place is too hot, but it's actually a perfect grindy session, just what I like.
Yeah, this session was basically cart horse central, so it was pretty much designed for me, but then we ran into a little bit of a problem.
I was getting the worst nipple chafings. I've had to go tops off, but in Japan, that's a massive faux pas. I don't think I've ever seen someone running topless, so I'm waiting for the SWAT team to come in, arrest me, deport me. This could be the end, boys.
Now, you're not going to believe this, but just soon after, the whole army showed up to try and detain me for committing this heinous crime. I was too busy fighting them off mid-session to record it, but they ended up retreating when they realised that they were no match for Quadzilla today. So luckily, I managed to finish off the session in peace.
Oh, we did it. It was more of a mental battle than physical, just so long out there. I think I was running for like an hour and 15 or something. Big volume in the legs. I'm gonna be a little bit sore tomorrow, I reckon.
Well, it was a tough fought battle, but in the end, I made the track beg for mercy. It's now 1-1 after I took the L last week. I came back and I conquered the session, 40 by 400 in the bag. It was obviously tiring, but I'd say more, it was just hard mentally. Like, had to go into the Zen mode where I almost just switched off completely. Like, you just get in the same rhythm of knocking out 72, 72, 72. So I just completely forgot about how many reps I had to come, like how many laps, all of that, and just entered a deep marathon monk trance that got me through it. So let's get back to that race plan for the marathon. So I'm obviously tired coming in, so I'm thinking, yeah, start at sort of 320 per K, and then maybe if I feel I'm real in that last 10K, then I can pick up. But I'm definitely not gonna be racing for the win. There's some very good runners, I think. I saw quite a few sort of pro, semi-pro guys enter, so I'm sure they'll be absolutely flying off the front. I've got to just control myself, resist the urge to take off. The cart horse has got to stay shackled tomorrow, save it for the future. Now, what's on the menu tonight for the Scran to Japan carbo loading edition? So I ended up going for some pretty classic pre-race stuff in the end. I know it's going to be safe, easy, bit boring, but it gets the job done. And you've got to fuel up before and after. So I got some sushi with tofu skins, some cold noodles, bit of mixed veg, some sticky rice balls, sweet potato crisps. I'm realising we've got a full-on feast here. I might have slightly overdone it, but better that way than wake up hungry. And then in the morning, I've got some banana, pancakes, sushi, cereal bar. That's my classic pre-race morning breakfast. As they say in Japan, itadakimasu. Now, in last week's video, I mentioned that over 50% of people watching aren't actually subscribed to this channel. And that little nudge of encouragement resulted in me gaining about 4 times as many subscribers from that one video than any of my other ones. So I'd be a fool to not say it again. If you've made it this far through the video and you're not subscribed, then get on that. Let's go. All right, race day, come on. So heading to the start line, I saw one of my mates, Ethan. He's actually just moved over to Tokyo and we've hit some runs together recently. He's a BYU alumni, so if you know anything about American distance running, that basically guarantees he's going to be good at the marathon.
Ethan recently moved over to Yogi. He's absolutely hammering the mileage. I've got competition for the local legend status.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to make you work for it.
What's the plan today then?
We'll see. I don't know what my fitness is, but we'll see if I can at least, hang with the top group or at least be within close distance.
Apparently,
no man's land.
they're going at sort of 209 pace, so it's tasty. We'll see what happens. Good luck, man. Let's go.
And the guest runner was the Japanese legend Naoko Takahashi, who I mentioned in some videos recently. Her training is ridiculous and has actually inspired my recent increase in mileage because she was a 300K a week plus kind of girl. And take a look there at an example week of training from her, so it's no surprise she was the best in the world. All right, now it's time to get rolling. So the worst thing about any Japanese race, as I've mentioned before, is their pacing strategy. Even or negative splits here just haven't been invented. So as usual, I found myself alone early and having to work my way up to a group.
I'm caught a little bit in 2 minds. There's a massive gap behind me and then this group in front, but they're moving a little quick. They just picked up to kind of 3:15s. A little bit too spicy on these legs, so hopefully they slow down slightly. Can reel them in and then just sit in that pack.
And as expected, it didn't take long for these guys to come back to me. Only 4K into the race, they're already slowing down.
I've got a little bit of a group here. Cruising now sort of 3:20s or so. It's a nice pace. Bloody hot though, man. Actually dripping in sweat already.
Yeah, I was feeling this heat already. I think it got up to maybe 22 at the end of this race, which for me is about 20 degrees too hot. And it means that definitely I'm not going to be running any more PBs in Japan till about November, because the next 6 months are just absolutely brutal with the humidity. Now through 10K, bang on that 320 pace, so holding it nice and steady. And luckily there was a bit of the group still with me.
Right, got to reel in the group in front. Slowly make my way through, holding pace.
Now all of the volunteers at these aid stations are absolute legends. Like, they love it with the support. And if I'm not giving like an all-out full power race going for a PB, then I always try and acknowledge them, like a little wave or arigato gozaimasu, something like that. And just listen to their reaction when I do. I mean, I can't help but get gassed and pick it up to 310s after that.
Right, we're into a bit of a windy section. I'm getting absolutely no help here, so gotta go here alone, battle through.
So yeah, there's never a lot of working together in these races, and I had to put in an absolute shift to try and close in that group with these guys just sitting on me. But I eventually gobbled up that ground and then could relax for a little bit just sitting in this next group. And that's where there was a turnaround, so I saw the leaders, and then soon after one of my friends, Ohashi, who I raced before and then chatted after with at the Shonan Fujisawa half marathon. And then just after him came Ethan, who was battling at it alone.
Come on mate, keep pushing, work the group.
So we came through halfway here in 70:30, so on track for a 2:21 marathon, and the pace wasn't exactly feeling easy.
I'm gonna hold it at this till about 32K, feeling pretty knackered, and then might try and pick up a bit then, just cut under that 220 barrier. We'll see though, still a long way to go and the legs are burning.
Now the heat was definitely starting to catch up with everyone, and I was trying to get in as many fluids as I could. Some of the runners had special drinks, but I was just relying on the little paper cups. So at every aid station, I'm grabbing like 3 or 4 cups, just chugging them, getting in as many liquids as I could, as well as taking gels every 6K or so.
Right, 2:30K, about a minute behind schedule. I'm feeling knackered, but loving support here. Yeah, this is class the whole way.
But then we ended up hitting a much quieter patch that was completely exposed. So from 35 to 40K, we flip around into this massive headwind. And it basically felt like I was sprinting flat out just to run 2:30 marathon pace. So I was in an absolute world of hurt here, just trying to get to the finish, make the pain stop. But as soon as we flipped around and got that tailwind from 40K onwards, it was happy days. And I was cruising into the finish, cutting it down and dropping those last few guys in my group as I knocked it down to kind of 3:10 pace. And then eventually entered the stadium to finish it off.
There we go. It's gonna be 2:22. God, the legs are banged up. I'm knackered. That was so much harder than a couple of weeks ago. There you go. Ooh, the legs are cooked. Jeez.
So just like everyone else, I'm banged up after a marathon, but the difference is within a couple of days, I'll be good as new and training towards the next one. So I'll explain after the race what my secrets are.
Cool, I'm gonna be a little sore tomorrow. I've got to be especially on it with the recovery, get the fluids down. I've got my onigiri for that post-run fuel. Good stuff. I wonder how Ethan did. He was moving well, but it looked tough all on his own.
Yeah, so he was pretty much solo gun to tape. Absolutely brutal in the conditions. All the top guys ended up running like 5 minutes slower than their personal best. So this was Ethan's second marathon only, but he absolutely smashed it with a 2:18 to come 5th. And I'm sure now that he lives right near me, we'll be linking up for more sessions over the coming months. And actually finishing just behind him was Ohashi, who I caught up with after.
今日はどうでしたか?
今日は so hard race. So very hot.
暑いし、風ちょっと強いし、強いランニングでした。
Time is so bad. PB 東京。
PB はい。
おおすごい。
東京の前どのレース走りました？
延岡。
延岡。日間12分。やばい。強い、めっちゃ強いですね。僕もっと練習しなきゃ。明日すごい。
Today we 1 week 260
kilo.
I can't run.
やばい。今日おめでとうございます。また走りましょうね。
Oh, so now I've finished up the race, I can talk about the secret to running a marathon every month. And you know what? I'm actually doing it right now. So the recovery process has started immediately immediately post-race. So the last thing you want to do after a big effort like that, but just getting moving is essential. I found if I lie down, if I do nothing the rest of the day, it's an absolute nightmare the next day. Like there's no chance I could get running again. Everything just stiffens up, tightens up. But if you can just force yourself to get on out there, it doesn't even have to be a run. I mean, I'm going to get a little warm down in now, like 3K or so. But then later in the day, just get walking around and get that active recovery in, because I've got to get straight back into training if I want to keep up this big mileage. But this is actually where the post-race recovery plan took a bit of an unexpected turn. Oh my God, I'm an absolute moron. I wasn't really concentrating on the bus. I was meant to be heading back to the Airbnb. And then I suddenly looked up from my phone, realized, oh, I've missed the stop. By the time I hit the button though, we're halfway up a bloody mountain. I don't know where we are right now, for God's sake. Don't know when the next bus is gonna be, but I'm literally miles from the Airbnb. I might have a 10K jog down this mountain. We're talking about recovery. I'm not sure this is the ideal recovery method, but I've got to somehow find my way back. Also, my phone's on like 5% battery, so I could be in a bit of trouble if that dies. There's absolutely no one around here. It's the most random place I've just been dropped off at. Oh, for sake, I've just seen the bus timetable. There's not another bus back from here for about 3 hours. Oh, I'm gonna have to try and get a lift or something, like hitchhike. I don't think I can run back down this mountain. My legs are shattered. Trouble is, all these cars are just going way too quick. Like, I'm just in the middle of a bloody road. I don't know how to stop them. They're absolutely flying down. So I feel like I'm just gonna have to walk, try and find a clearing and then maybe hitchhike the rest. But I guess while I'm strolling, I might as well talk about the recovery. So yeah, the difference between a sort of 95% and 100% marathon is huge. So with Tokyo, that's an all-out, flat-out effort. It's gonna take me so long to recover from that. Like I felt so banged up for weeks and weeks after. My legs were ruined. Just even like mentally, I'm so drained because I had to go to a dark place during that race. And then you compare that with an effort like today, and yeah, obviously I'm a bit tired now, but then within a couple of days, I should be back to normal. So that's a big reason why I can run so many marathons, because I'm not absolutely caning all of them. I'm using most of them as just training efforts. So you've got to be selective with the ones you absolutely push and you taper for. And by coming in tired, it means I can't give everything. Like today, this felt like a really, really hard effort, but because I'm coming in knackered, it means I couldn't actually bury myself. So I've actually left quite a bit in the tank. Now, another big secret to the monthly marathons is the mileage. I feel like mileage is just the key for anything running related. I'll always come back to the high mileage. I'm a firm believer, a devout marathon monk. And I really do think you've got to just put in the time, pounding out those miles, and that helps with the recovery. And most days I'm running 30 to 40K at least. So I'm just so used to running that distance that it means it's not an absolute shock when I go and race one like this. Like, yeah, the effort's a fair bit harder, but the actual distance, it's not crazy. Okay, I found my hitchhiking spot. I've got a little clearing here, so I've just got to hope a car comes along and actually stops for me, but it's not looking very promising. It's not quite how I plan to be recovering from this marathon, but I guess it's all part of the adventure. Oh dear, it's not looking good. My phone's just died completely, so I can't get directions. All the cars coming past are just ignoring me. So who knows if I ever make it back, but maybe I just leave the video on a cliffhanger here. If this is the last time you ever see me and I never make it back from this mountain, then just know I enjoyed the ride. You'll have to tune in next week to see if I survive this adventure. But this has been Jake with Run to Japan. Remember, train harder, not smarter.